March 8, 1968, the North Pacific Ocean, approximately 1,560 nautical miles northwest of Oahu, Hawaii. Somewhere beneath the surface, a Soviet Golf-class ballistic missile submarine designated K-129 was conducting a routine deterrent patrol, one of dozens such patrols the Soviet Navy maintained continuously during the Cold War, each submarine carrying nuclear-armed missiles capable of reaching American territory within minutes of launch. K-129 had departed its base at Rybachi, on the Kamchatka Peninsula, in late February. It carried a crew of 98 men. At some point on or around March 8th, it stopped transmitting. It never surfaced again. The Soviet Navy noticed the silence within days. K-129 had missed scheduled communications checks, a serious anomaly for a vessel on deterrent patrol. Soviet Naval Command launched an intensive search, deploying surface ships and aircraft across a vast stretch of the North Pacific in an effort that continued for weeks. They found nothing, no wreckage, no oil slick, no debris field, no transmission, distress signal, or final position report. In a Cold War defined by the assumption that every Soviet military asset was being tracked, monitored, and understood by Western intelligence, K-129 had simply ceased to exist, and the Soviet Union itself did not know why. What the Soviets did not know was that the United States Navy did. A network of underwater listening stations known as the Sound Surveillance System, SOSUS, had been quietly recording the deep ocean for over a decade, designed primarily to track Soviet submarine movements through the acoustic signature of their engines. In the analysis of recorded data from early March, American naval intelligence officers identified an anomalous acoustic event consistent with an implosion, the catastrophic structural failure of a submarine hull under the crushing pressure of deep water. Cross-referencing the acoustic signature with known Soviet submarine patrol patterns, American analysts concluded with a high degree of confidence that they had located the wreck of a Soviet ballistic missile submarine. They knew where K-129 was. The Soviet Union did not. This presented American intelligence with an extraordinary and almost unprecedented opportunity. A sunken Soviet submarine, fully intact in many of its compartments, sitting on the ocean floor at a depth of nearly 5 kilometers, 1,600 miles from anywhere, completely unknown to its own government. Aboard it, nuclear-tipped torpedoes and ballistic missiles, cryptographic equipment, codebooks, and the kind of direct physical access to Soviet military hardware that espionage operations could spend decades trying to achieve through human assets alone. The CIA proposed what would become one of the most audacious and expensive intelligence operations in American history. Its codename was Project Azorian. The plan required building a ship unlike anything that had ever been constructed, a vessel large enough and sophisticated enough to lower a massive mechanical claw nearly 5 kilometers to the ocean floor, grip a sunken submarine weighing approximately 2,000 tons, and lift it intact through the water column to the surface, all while maintaining the public fiction that the operation was a commercial deep-sea mining venture. The CIA partnered with the reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes, whose reputation for eccentric and ambitious engineering projects provided the perfect cover story. The vessel was named the Hughes Glomar Explorer. Its public purpose was the harvesting of manganese nodules from the ocean floor, a real but commercially unproven technology that gave the cover story just enough plausibility to survive scrutiny. Its actual purpose was known to a tightly restricted circle of CIA officials, naval engineers, and the ship's specially cleared crew. Construction took nearly 3 years and cost an estimated $800 million, an extraordinary sum for a single intelligence operation, even by Cold War standards. The Glomar Explorer departed for the recovery site in the summer of 1974, 6 years after K-129 had sunk. Over the following weeks, the ship's massive claw mechanism, concealed within the hull and operated through a moon pool, descended through nearly 5 kilometers of open ocean to the wreck site. What happened next remains, even decades later, only partially confirmed. According to the limited information the CIA has ever acknowledged, the claw successfully gripped the submarine and began the lift. Partway through the ascent, a significant portion of the hull broke away and was lost back to the ocean floor. What was actually recovered, what remained aboard the lost section, and what became of the Soviet crew members' remains that were reportedly found and given a formal burial at sea have never been fully disclosed by the American government. The operation might have remained permanently classified had it not been for an unrelated 1974 burglary at a Hughes Corporation office, which led journalists toward documents referencing a mysterious CIA project. When the story broke publicly in 1975, the CIA neither confirmed nor denied the operation's details, a response so consistently evasive elusive in subsequent inquiries that it gave rise to a now famous phrase in American Freedom of Information law, the Glomar response. The Soviet Union, for its part, never publicly acknowledged that the operation had taken place, despite overwhelming evidence that Moscow had known for years. The K-129's crew received a quiet memorial service decades later. Their families were told almost nothing for most of their lives. What the Hughes Glomar Explorer actually brought to the surface in 1974, and what still rests on the Pacific floor where the broken hull fell back into darkness, remains one of the most carefully guarded secrets of the entire Cold War.